My guest today is Jen Heuett. She's an AI business and systems strategist based in Christchurch, New Zealand. Now, Jen started out running a social media management company and had a six-figure year in her first year. Don't we all dream of that? Then she made the pivot into systems and operations. She now helps established business owners use AI and simple systems to work better. I'm so excited to have her here. Welcome, Jen.
Thank you. I'm very excited to be here.
Awesome. Now, Jen doesn't know this, but very early on in my business career, when I'd first launched Social Smarty or not long afterwards, there was a few business owners that I chose to stalk online. And I thought that everyone else had the answer and they all knew what they were doing. And Jen was one of those businesses. The Small Wins Company was one of those businesses that I was stalking all over Instagram and thinking I wanted to be just like her. So it's kind of a random moment to have Jen on the podcast today. So, yeah, Jen, I didn't admit that to you before we jumped on.
No, you did not. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I'm like blushing. Oh,
Oh,
that's so
goodness.
wonderful to hear. I love having like positive stalkers.
Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
that's
Nothing creepy
awesome.
at all.
Oh,
But
no, not at all.
the thing that I really am dying to ask you is about that
Yes.
pivot. So back when
Yeah.
I was a stalker, you were all about social media management, social media coaching. You were doing all the things I wanted to do. And now it's all different. So tell me, how did that pivot happen?
Yes. Like I said, that first year I went in as a social media management company and it was amazing. I started my business 3 months before COVID, before lockdown.
Wow.
And I had no idea what was about to happen. I thought my business was already over because nobody, could go anywhere. And that was the opposite case. Everybody needed to be online. So my business blew up and it was overwhelming, to be honest. I loved social media back in 2019. I loved being online. I'm from the States and I live here in New Zealand. So my whole life is online. I don't have any family, any relatives here in New Zealand, so I was literally by myself. And so having a business that kept me online was natural. Speaking on social media was natural to me. I loved it. And it was just an easy way for me to stay in my, extrovert to the 10th power. So being able to help businesses understand how to be online and how to communicate with, their customers and leads and build a following in a community, that came very natural. And I loved it. But I burnt out after that first year big time. And what I didn't realize is how far behind New Zealand is to the United States as far as social media adoption. So for me, I was like, "Oh my gosh, I have to go back to the very, very, very basics here." I I wasn't prepared, I would say, for how much of the basics I was having to do. And so I did so many trainings and so many coaching sessions and then, having tons of clients managing their full social media. It became a lot for one person. And I realized probably about, I would say 8 months in, I remember having this conversation with myself. I was doing an audit of my own business. I was like, wow, I'm working a lot of hours and everything's up in the air in the world. And this is, a perfect time for me to see if this is really what I want to do. And what I realized is that I was training all of these businesses. I was training their marketing assistants, their admin assistants, whoever on their team, training owner operators. And I realized, oh my God, none of them are actually going to implement what I'm teaching them long term because they don't have the operations and the systems set up in their business and that structure to handle social media in their business, to handle that extra work that they've got to do. They might not have a team, the team member. So if it is a solopreneur or owner operator, they didn't have the time. They were building their business based on their technical skills and from memory. They didn't have any documented processes. They didn't have any systems set up. So I realized, I go, oh, wow, I actually have to start from the foundational structural part of business with the operational side first in order for them to actually get the results that they wanted from their marketing activities. Like some businesses caught on with social media, which was awesome, but moving into systems and operations, I realized how many people don't have their businesses set up very well. So once I was able to show them, we need to do this work first before you do the marketing and social media. So it's not a stop start situation for your business. It's not heavy. It's not clunky. It's going to get you results, but that lack of documented processes and the delivery of their services was alarming. So for me, I was like, oh, I've got it. I have to do this work first. I know how to do this work first. So that's where I kind of pivoted into that systems work and teaching and building the confidence in business owners of, okay, let's pump the brakes on your social media marketing and wanting to put out 50 pieces of content in 2 days and going viral every single day and get me 10,000 followers in 24 hours. Those outrageous claims that I know you are very, very well versed in. um I
Absolutely.
said, okay, well, how are you actually going to handle going viral? How are you actually going to handle lots and lots of sales or leads or, inquiries? What are you going to do when, you say gain 1,000 followers in a week and you get 300 DMs? How are you going to handle, 400 emails or, 400 new sales on some sort of digital product or service you've got? And so I've got to really help them understand how to run their business a lot more simple than they were so that they do have that time to then go and use that for content and marketing purposes. Because before, oh my God, it was just like we were doing such good work. But then after I left or after our sessions were done, they were back to doing what they did. And I tried to switch up my services a bit of doing strategy and then implementation and then training.
Mhm.
So nice little package there, which was awesome. But during that time, it was COVID time. It was really hard for people to be in a headspace of long term thinking. Really, really hard. So I think that also played a big part in it is the clients that I had and the social media work I was doing was so much fun. And it was great to have them online, but they were desperate for sales. That scarcity mindset was huge.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I pivoted after a massive burnout from
Wow.
that. Is that it's a huge responsibility that I took on to try and help save people's businesses by putting them online. And I think at the end of that year, I was so exhausted. I felt so
Yeah.
responsible for so many businesses that I knew I had to pivot into something that was a little bit more substantial and sustainable to get them those quick wins first to see, okay, ooh, yeah, I've got some work to do on the foundational structure of my business first to then go and use social media marketing correctly.
And how was that received by the businesses? Because I imagine, you'd be
Mm,
uncovering and sort of almost like pulling on
yeah.
that thread and realizing behind the scenes they didn't have those systems in place. Was it an easy kind of conversation to have to say, actually, we need to take a step back here? Or did some of them not appreciate that feedback?
I think a lot of them knew. I think it was more of when you go in as a systems strategist or anybody that works in the systems and operations space, there is a level of shame and guilt that businesses feel when, let's say, I do an audit or uncover big gaps and opportunities in the way they're running their business. So it's more of a person, it feels like a personal attack. Like, oh, I didn't set my business up and now I'm embarrassed and I feel shame that how I'm doing things isn't the right way. and I have to it's it's more of like a coaching session of you didn't do it wrong, you just did it the way that you thought was right, and that's how you know. You've got technical skills, you don't have business management skills, and that's totally fine. Like, you learn as you grow and you build a business. So for me, some didn't want to go down that road because they saw it as like a very big, long project, and we're already, 10 years in, and they're like, "Oh my god, that feels like too much."
Yeah.
I learned a lot from having those conversations early on, for my own positioning and messaging of who I want to work with. And the ones that did take it on board were awesome because what we ended up doing was figuring out those gaps and opportunities in their systems, and we kind of pulled it into the training. So it wasn't a huge difference. It was okay. We're going to look at content and marketing systems first. We're going to identify the role and responsibilities. We're going to carve time out for training. So it was like a natural fit. And then we just moved into the actual social media strategy, content training, and repurposing and all that fun stuff. So most of them definitely took it on board and understood that they were not giving either the person that I was training enough time to understand everything that was involved. And they also understood that how they set their business up wasn't necessarily the right way, or their, say, marketing arm of their business wasn't necessarily set up in a way that's scalable or sustainable for anybody on the team. So we kind of pivoted that work for a bit and then moved into the social media aspect of it, which was really cool. And for me, uh, you know, um, it just helped me figure out there are businesses here that truly care about making, like, not just thinking, "Oh, I can do it later."
Mm.
They care about their clients and the results that they get and how they deliver their services and products so much that they're willing to take the time, energy, and money to fix it so that long term it works much better for them. So I definitely learned who was right and wrong for me.
Now, I'm just going to backpedal a little bit because there's something you said that really piqued my interest.
Mm,
You mentioned the difference between American business owners and Kiwi
yeah.
business owners. And you said that Kiwi business owners were a little bit behind the US business owners in terms of their social media knowledge. Was it the same with the system side of things as well? Did you find that Kiwis just simply didn't have those systems in place like they might, the equivalent in the US might have?
I think it's maybe not necessarily the knowledge. I think it's more of the mindset to delegate, outsource, and get support rather than the I'm doing everything, the DIY, or everything's going to be all right. I think here it's the ambition levels and the support, I would say, is much different. In the States, you can say, "Oh, I'm going to start a business," or "I'm going to do this," or I wanna, you know, do an events company alongside my business." People will be like, "Hell yeah, let's do this. Let's help you set things up. I know this person. I can connect you to them. I know a systems person to set up your whole events business." And the people in the States would take that on.
Mm.
They know that they can't do everything. They know that investing helps them make more money, helps them be more successful. So I would say it's just more of the environment. Right? Kiwis here love DIY, love to do everything themselves. There is a different type of community here, but the I say the ambition level and the wanting to know the knowledge is much, much different. We think way too much here and we act way too slowly here.
Yeah.
And I would say that's the biggest difference is I could tell somebody I could do a systems audit for a business and they would sit on that for 5 years. I mean, I used to do social media courses, and I had a lady last year. email me saying, I need my password and login for a course that I finished 5 years ago
Yeah.
that was no longer available. So, and emailed me saying, I'm just getting into social media. So the the pace here is very sluggish
Yeah. Mhm.
compared to the States. Yeah.
Well, something I think that has probably increased the pace of a lot of business owners is AI.
Mm.
And thinking about how quickly AI has just become like your trusted business partner and,
Mm.
touching so many different parts of your business, I imagine it's really big in what you do in terms of systems and operations. Can you tell me a little bit about how AI has sort of become part of what you do?
Yes. So I was just writing a LinkedIn post today about this. Is AI, specifically Claude, has collapsed time. It has, for people who are strategists or big thinkers, visionaries, and a lot of business owners are naturally visionaries, but have to be the, integrators because they might just work for themselves or have a small team. We are naturally really good at ideas and thinking about what we actually want, but the integration of that takes a really long time. And with systems and business strategy work, as you know, with social media strategy, you map out what a company wants and then you have to implement that. With Claude, it takes away that implementation and like collapses the time from idea to strategy to actually having it out in the world and in your business. It's kind of mind boggling how fast that works.
Yeah.
And for systems and operations work, for instance, I'm working with a client and she's realizing, okay, I don't want to set up any launch planning anymore. I want to have my content repurposed once a week. And I also, when I have coaching sessions, I don't want to have to upload anything anymore. So now she tells Claude, one sentence and it builds out her whole entire launch for an offer, calendar, timeline, content, emails, puts it into her project planner, tasks, due dates, everything in
Amazing.
like 5 minutes. 5 minutes. For strategy work, it's breaking down the plan of the strategy. So here's your quarterly theme, here's the goals, here's what needs to happen. That's all put into your project management tool, all tasks, all due dates. Um, so if for systems work, my big one is documenting how you actually run your business. And I have yet to work with a business, hundreds and hundreds of businesses later, I've yet to work with a business that has 100% documented and 100% could hand over to somebody if they were sick or wanted to buy or whatever. And so Claude, now all you have to do is okay, this is my messy middle mentorship. It's a 6-month container. Here's what I do. Here's how I deliver it. Here's the onboarding, the delivery, the offboarding. I want you to write my SOPs for me now. And so then it will break down the pre-work, the pre-delivery, delivery, offboarding, retention, right? All the SOPs based on the work that I have to deliver and how I deliver it, the results, everything. I can do that in less than 10 minutes.
Wow. That's
And that
incredible.
used to be like months
Yeah.
of work. So AI has it's collapsed time and it has made it so much easier for business owners to step away from the day to day energy draining tasks and delegate to Claude and now opens up their schedule, their time, their energy to work on big picture things, to work on next stage of business or the next chapter. And having that brain space is addicting because now you're like, oh, I have this time. What can I do with it? This is what you wanted your whole time of having business is the actual freedom. And Claude is now giving that to you while helping you run your business smarter, easier, lighter, better. And now it's like, okay, I have this time. Let's not fill it with more work, more busy work. Let's get really intentional with what I want to achieve and what I want to do with it. There's nothing else right now like that.
Wow.
And it's incredible. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
But it's not all good, is it? Is there anything that you see business owners
Mm.
when they're using AI, maybe they're using it in the wrong way or
Mm.
anything that makes you cringe around AI?
Yeah, of course. There's a lot of cringe in AI. And it's not just with Claude, there's hundreds of thousands of AI tools. And the things that make me cringe are using it just for content and captions, everything sounding the same. I think we all have that ick now. AI flyers, horrendous, absolutely horrendous.
Yeah.
Not really into a lot of the AI imagery or videos and, very robotic, very just, yeah, same. But I think the thing that makes me cringe the most is when people tell you that or ask, "Oh, was this written with AI? Was this like who cares?" Like honestly, like use your time and energy in something else. I don't care if something was written with AI anymore. Is it good? Did it make me is it engaging? Did it give me, a value? Is it of value? Is it something that I actually want to read or engage with? The hating on I understand there's other elements of AI that absolutely I understand people can hate and don't want AI to be around. Totally understand that. But the hating on AI solely based on the fact that you are looking at it as a content driven machine and not an operational assistant or side of your business is wild to me. Like you are looking at it in such a wrong perspective. Like being able to have Claude run so many different workflows for you at the same time, helping you run your business so that you can stay, in your zone of genius or do what you really love in your business. Like, why wouldn't we want to do that? I'm really confused at we've latched on to hating AI because of content, but have not changed the conversation around, well, how about you stop caring about that and start looking at what it can do for your business instead of hating on everybody else's businesses and how they're producing cringe content, which I understand it sucks to see and read, but why don't you focus on building your business and reclaiming your time by using a part of AI that's hugely beneficial to what you're trying to achieve? Like,
Yeah.
I just don't understand it. Why waste so much time and energy on hating when you could be using that time to build a whole arm of your business that takes away all the work you don't like. And now you get to do, 80% of your work now is what you love. That is a great, great feeling when you get there.
Yeah.
Um, so I just find it such a time waster.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then now it's what I think is funny is the people who hate on AI or hate on the content side are complaining that everybody sounds the same, but so do all the haters.
Yeah.
You all sound the same as well.
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me.
No. Gosh, I couldn't agree more. Yeah, 100% agree with that. But I think listening to you speak, I think there's going to be a lot of listeners out there that are thinking, oh my gosh, I don't have any of my own
Mm.
systems, my own, operations in order. I feel like you really help so many of the listeners. So if there's one sort of quick win or quick tip, whether that's related to AI or something else, what could the average business owner go out and do right now to improve their systems in their business?
I would say l- using Claude to document everything in their business, how they run their business, how they deliver their products or services, how they hire, how they market, how they create content, how they do their bills, whatever admin and finance side, and just document everything because Claude cannot be of service or AI cannot be of service unless you give it really good context. So many business owners jump into ChatGPT, Claude, whatever, um, and chat to it. They don't delegate or give it context. And that's why they see terrible results and that's why they get same results as everybody else. It's because they're not giving it any context to their business. What I'm seeing with my own clients is that they are running their business from memory. And when you run your business from memory, you cannot utilize AI to help you build a better business, free up your time, and get rid of the energy draining tasks you hate. So if I was a business and I was starting with AI or wanting to get serious, um, I would 100% look at how do I actually run my business? And I would document that through Claude because it's super, super fast. And then I would feed Claude all of that information because now you have basically an AI brain of how you run your business. And then Claude just pulls from those documents and that understanding of your business to help you do tasks and do things. So 100% understand how you run your business. I think there's a very big gap and misunderstanding of how you actually do the work versus how you think you do the work. There's a lot of people who start from scratch every single time they do a new service or a new client signs up, or they, go to build a new offer or a new workshop or anything. It's never the same. There's always some different iteration. And so if you actually want to take systems and operations and AI seriously, you have to get really clear on how you want to run your business and what is the most important aspects of your business so that Claude can then take that work you don't like and do it the right way. So if it doesn't have that context, it's going to do whatever it searches for. Um, and that rarely is good enough output for you. Um, and then you'll just be in a chat with Claude asking it to make all these changes when in reality, you're just not giving it the right information from the beginning.
Amazing. Such good
Yeah.
advice. And it's definitely something that I'm going to implement, like
Yeah.
literally as soon as we get off this call. I think I'm going to start documenting. So if
Mm,
any of the listeners want to find out a little bit more about what you do or they want to come and connect with you,
mm.
where can they find you?
Yes. I would just say the easiest is Instagram at the Small Wins Co. Yeah. Easiest way. I am on LinkedIn under Jennifer Heuett. My last name's a bit funky. I'm mostly on Instagram.
I'll pop the links in the show notes.
Okay, cool. Yeah. I'd love to hear from people as well of how they're integrating AI from the operation side, not just the content and um, the content lens. I'd love to see more of like the business owner leadership and operation side. 'Cause it's so much more powerful using it that side.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you
Yeah,
so much, Jen, for
of
being here
course.
today and for sharing all of your amazing knowledge. I know I've got lots to do when I get off this call with you, but thank you so much for
Yeah.
being here.
Yeah. No worries. Thank you.